Doing great. Doing great. Glad to be a Buckeye, man.
Why Ohio State, Will?
Man, there was a lot of reasons why, but, when I got to the end, it was more why not, I just felt like this was an opportunity I couldn't pass up on. And, I really thought I had a really good relationship with Coach Day. Thought he was a really good guy, and obviously didn't know about the Coach O'Brien news, but that fires me up too. There was just so many different things that went into this decision. It was a long, weird journey in the portal, but I couldn't be happier or more blessed to be here.
What about Coach O'Brien? What is it that fires you up about him from your vantage point?
He seems like just very relatable, someone that I can get along with really well. Very smart. I mean, he's been around for how long doing this, and has done some really, really good things at some really big time places. Just the experience that he brings and that I'll be able to, feed off of and kind of just really just learn from him and kind of bounce ideas off of him because, he's really personable. He's a player's coach. He wants to do what we want to do and cater to our strengths, and he wants to run our offense, and that's big time.
Well, when we talked to Caleb, he was just talking about how rushed the portal is, but for you seem to be in there forever. What was that process like for you? And, were you glad that you kind of took it slow and made sure that you were making a good decision there?
Yeah, at times it felt rushed, and at times it felt like, I was pressing, like people were, we need a commitment, we need this, we need that, but I just, throughout the whole process, I just prayed and trusted God and knew that, his plan for me would be greater and that I would end up where I was meant to be. And, that paid off, tenfold. I feel like I landed in the best possible place for myself, and I couldn't be more thankful and blessed to be here.
How early in the process did you hear from Ohio State, and how did that sort of unfold?
I don't remember exactly when it happened, when it went down, but I knew they wanted to wait until after the Cotton Bowl to do anything. So, I was patient, and I knew that that going to Ohio State and playing quarterback here would be a huge honor and an opportunity that would be hard to pass up. And it was a long process, but I'm glad I ended up here.
When you started,
Audio guys stepping in. Will, can you scoot up to the mic for me?
Sorry. Yeah, I got you.
Why were you patient? Because, as you said, there was a scenario where they come out of the Cotton Bowl and maybe they don't need you as much as they thought they did.
Yeah, sure. And there was a lot of different options for me on the table, and I thought they were all really good options. I didn't think any of them were as good as this one, and this is the one that I kind of had, circled in the back of my mind. And it was really down to the last minute. In the last week before I committed here, I got a Senior Bowl invite. That was probably the thing that I was closest to doing, was going to the draft. I was projected a 3rd to 6th round, so that's what I was hearing. You can never really trust anything that you hear, but that was consensus what I was hearing, and I just felt like I had the opportunity, and I felt like my talent level didn't really match where my stock was, and I felt like I couldn't pass up an opportunity to try and bump that up and go somewhere to compete for a national championship.
Did you watch the Cotton Bowl?
I did.
When you see Devin doing some of the run concepts before he gets hurt, and Lincoln doing a little bit of the running as well, did you picture yourself in an offense that looked a lot like that? I know Coach O'Brien's going to bring some new stuff, but could you see yourself in that offense as you were watching that game, or were you watching it just to watch it?
I was really just watching it just because, we played Missouri, lost to them this past year on a heartbreaking field goal from like 62 yards. So I was just watching the game as more of just a fan. But yeah, the things that Coach Day does in his offense and that Coach O'Brien does, I feel like really fit my type of build, my type of player. Where I was coming from at K-State, it was a very run-heavy offense, especially quarterback run-heavy, which I was very happy to do and didn't mind doing at all. I'm excited here to where I feel like it's more of a, where I can be that pocket passer and also use my legs when I need to. But, I feel like my strength is in my arm. But I also feel like I I can do really good things with my legs. And obviously, being a quarterback, you need to make those plays when you need them, especially.
How much did working with the receivers that they have here? Obviously, there's a lot of first-round talent. I mean, how much did that influence your decision to go out and play with some guys that are probably going to be day-one draft picks at that position?
Oh, it had a huge impact on it. You know, I love my guys at K-State, and I have nothing bad to say about them, man. But I mean, the talent here is unbelievable, and I just being around the guys, and the thing that's impressed me the most about, especially the receiver room, is how driven they are and how much they want to work. You know, I don't have to go out there and beg these guys to go catch. I mean, they're already out here catching on the jugs when I come out to throw. You know, it's like they're incredibly hardworking, just all across the room. I mean, we got dudes like Carnell and Brandon Ennis and obviously Emeka and all those guys. Like, I mean, that's just tip of the iceberg. Like, there is so much talent in that room, and being able to throw to guys like that makes my job a lot easier.
First impression, Jeremiah Smith.
Dude, he's a dude, man. I haven't gotten to talk to him that much yet. You know, just because we've been in different groups lifting and stuff. But man, he's a specimen. I mean, that dude is a freak show when it comes to physical. I mean, he is. I'm excited to see him out on the field in live action. It'll be fun.
You got your NFL feedback. Talk about third to sixth round. What did they say that they wanted to see more from you this year?
I feel like the resounding thing that I heard from these NFL guys and from people around the league was, you need to play more, and we need to see more high-level play. And I feel like, you know, I played a lot of football in my time at K-State, but, you know, I only had 1 year where I was really the true starter and where I played, you know, the whole year. For the most part, I was a backup filling in, and I felt like, you know, there's a bunch of statistics and things that they look at, and, you know, I was on the very lowest end of, like, you know, the amount of yards that you're supposed to throw for, and, you know, you look at the success stories versus the, you know, failure stories. And there was just so many signs that were pointing to coming back. And really in my heart, and that was at the end of the day, I mean, it was up to me. It was my gut. And I felt like I just wasn't ready to leave college yet. I still had more I wanted to accomplish.
Is the reason you kind of picked Ohio State, the type of offense that can put you in the right spot, get you good film for the NFL?
Absolutely. And, I mean, the biggest thing was I felt like I could come compete here to win a national championship. And that, above anything else, was one of the most important things. Like, I felt like I just had more I wanted to accomplish in college, and I wasn't done yet. And that was, I think, what really drew me here. Obviously, you know, getting to the next level and you know, playing in an offense like this, I think is really going to prepare me for that next level and give me the best shot. And that's all just really sugar on the cake, you know, for me.
Well, you were in your conversation. You're in a room with 5 quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, what is that like, having that many people in the room? And when you were talking with Day and the rest of the staff about how this might look in the spring in terms of rep distribution, did you guys have conversations about that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely talked about it. You know, we're all here to compete, and we're all here to, you know, help the Buckeyes win. That's all we're here for, and that was, you know, that was made evident when I came on my visit. And you know, the thing that I'm the most fired up about is how good the dudes in the room are, and how good they've been to me. You know, they could have, you know, believe me, I've been in a situation where we brought in an older transfer kid, and you know, they could have been, you know, mad and not talk to me and not help me out. But I mean, Devin and Lincoln and the guys that have been around, they've really helped us a lot, especially us 3 new guys. And you know, I know I'm older and I've done things, but still just learning a new system, learning, you know, how we do things in the weight room, how we, you know, go about our business in the locker room. It's just, everything's a little different. So I'm so thankful for those guys that they've helped me so much, just getting accustomed to, you know, being in this building, really.
What was your first impressions of Aaron and Julian?
Really good dudes, really good kids, and really talented too. I mean, they can both spin the ball really well. You know, they're young, and they know they got a lot to learn, and so do I. You know, I'm right there with them. You know, I think we're all trying to learn this together. Even, you know, Coach O'Brien a little bit, and we're hitting the ground running. But you know, it's exciting. Those 2 guys are special young kids.
Well, just want to make sure I have it right. If you didn't commit here, was your second choice really
It's hard to say. I would probably say the draft would have been my. I was talking to some other schools that Miami and USC were in there in the mix, but it was really, I would say, here in the draft at the end of it. There was a lot of different things that went into it, and it was a long, hard process. But yeah, I would say. I mean, that was probably most likely.
When you first you talked too about waiting for after the Cotton Bowl to see what Ohio State was going to do, even though you've been in touch with them before. How did the conversations evolve after that game?
I mean, nothing crazy. It was just.
There's a spider.
Oh shoot! Thank you. Appreciate that. I'm not a Spider fan, so I'll get rid of it. Yeah, true. Stomp it out. Yeah, my man. Appreciate it. There you go. A little sidetrack, but no. What was the question again? I'm sorry. Spider controversy. What's up? Yeah.
Just how the conversations evolved after the
Yeah. No, it was. I mean, it wasn't really anything crazy, I would say. I just. Nothing really changed. It was really kind of, they were kind of holding me off a little bit just till after that game, just in fairness. And, I was just patient and waited my time, and it all worked out in due time. So
Did Coach Day let you know he was going to make?
When did you circle Ohio State? When did that happen?
it's hard to tell. I don't really know. It was a whirlwind of a process. I started hearing initially they might be interested, but I hadn't really heard anything directly. And then, really getting in, I really started to feel that interest after the Cotton Bowl.
And you're in
Did Coach Day let you
conversations
know
with.
there was a change coming in coordinator?
A little bit, yeah. I kind of figured that. I didn't know for sure, but he kind of hinted at it. And, his point was, it's in the best interest of him and the team, and I was all in. I completely understood, the decision and why he did it.
In your conversations with Coach Day, what was it that he said stood out about your game and what you could bring, and what were some of the areas he felt you could grow in?
Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of things that were said. A lot of things that were attractive to me about this offense and about what he kind of thought about my game and how he thought he could, elevate me to where I wanted to be. I feel like one of the biggest things was how pro style the offense is, and a lot of these other schools that I was looking at, maybe these air raid type schools, they got great offenses, and I could put up a lot of numbers, but I don't know how much that would develop me for the NFL, and playing in a system that Coach O'Brien was just, he was just with the Patriots. I mean, how much better can you prepare for the NFL than with somebody who's coached at a head coach level and in a coordinator level in the NFL? There's just all the things pointed to Ohio State. So
Your journey in Kansas State was far from straightforward. I mean, both your freshman and your junior year, you're the backup, and the starter gets hurt, and you're called upon to start games. I kind of wanted to look back at the situation in 2022 with Adrian and you. Obviously he gets hurt multiple times, and during the season you come in for him. Just how did you stay ready and prepared? Because you end up getting carried off the field against Oklahoma State, all this stuff. Just how did you stay ready and prepared in those moments, and how do you think maybe going through some of that adversity, being a backup and being thrust into that starting position again, prepare you to take on the challenge of coming to a big program?
yeah, that's a really good question. I think the biggest thing that I learned in my 4 years at K-State was humility and how there's always going to be hard times, and I think it was kind of a blessing, as hard as it was going through some of those things that I went through. Playing as a true freshman, really my freshman and sophomore year kind of skewed my stats, so it makes it look like I throw a lot of picks and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, it's like I learned so much from those times and from my struggles early on, and it makes it so much more sweet now that I've kind of made it through that bump. But I feel like last year kind of taught me that you're never really through that, and there's always going to be tough days and hard times, and I've just matured and learned so much from those experiences, and I feel like it's made me a lot tougher. You know, I'm really hard to break now, and you know, you can say what you want about me, but you know, I'm still me, and you know that at the end of the day, you know, I trust God, and God's got me no matter what, and you know, I'm just so grateful to be here. You know, just in this building, like it's a blessing. It really is. I got to pinch myself every day that I get to come to work here.
You haven't been here long, but what's the culture change? What's the culture shift been like? Not to put any place down. That's
Yeah.
worse, just different.
That was honestly the thing I was surprised the most about, in a good way, about this place. And you know, coming from a place like Kansas State where we really prided ourselves on our culture, and I feel like we won a lot of games because of our culture. You know, we beat Oklahoma 3 years in a row. We didn't necessarily have more talented guys than them. You know, that was why we won games there. And you know, coming here, you know, where we have all the talent in the world, and I mean, I think you'd be hard pressed to find a more talented roster in America right now than we have. And you know, you put that in with the culture that we have here. I mean, it's special. Like when I came in and met these dudes that are, you know, projected first round draft picks coming back, and like they could be, I mean, you know, have their heads, you know, as big as this room, but they all are just they're here to win, and they're here because they love the Buckeyes, and it's really a cool thing to be around that.
Toughness has been an issue here the last couple of years, whether it's Lou Holtz saying it or whatever. You're probably aware of some of that. Do you bring a toughness, either a physical or a mental, emotional toughness? It sounds like what you've been through has kind of hardened you for that.
Yeah, I like to pride myself on my toughness, and you know, mentally, physically, all that. You know, I'm not going to break, and that's kind of my mentality. That's what I like to bring. That's kind of how I like to lead. You know, I haven't noticed any toughness problems here as of yet. I'll tell you, you know, we're working our butts off in there, and you know, there's one goal this year, and that's to win.
Your leadership style, are you a out front guy? Are you a yeller, or you know?
I feel like it's that's a good question. It's very different. I mean, every leader's kind of different in their own way. And I've evolved in my time. You know, I wasn't as vocal when I first got to Kansas State, but by the end, obviously, you're the starting quarterback. You got to be that guy. You got to be vocal, and I am happy to be vocal. You know, everyone says lead by example, but you know, to me, leading by example is just doing the right thing. You know, I think that's just the bare minimum. If you're not leading by example, then you're not doing the right thing.
You said you like the pro style offense here, and the way that can prepare you for the next level.
Yeah.
When you've learned about what Ryan Day's done here over the years, what do you like? Sort of not to get too granular.
A lot of really good stuff that they do. I mean, just you know, they protect the quarterback. You know, I mean, knock on wood, there haven't been many quarterback injuries here as of late. You know, that was big. And then I think, you know, just the play action game. You know, some of the naked game. You know, we ran a pretty pro style offense back where I came from, but you know, it was exciting, just the terminology, and he, you know, being someone who's came right from the NFL.
The fact that CJ was so good year one in the NFL, did that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, he tore it up this year. I mean, yeah.
Were there a lot of designed runs at Kansas State for you?
A ton.
2 minutes, folks. 2
Did
minutes.
that play a factor in you wanting to come here, considering quarterback runs are not as often?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily, I wouldn't say. You know, even though it's not necessarily my forte, like people saw me, believe it or not, as a running quarterback my first 2 years at K-State. Like I had a section on the game card called Willard Howard plays, and it was like quarterback power, that was my thing. But now it's like I feel like that's not me, and you know, I'm happy to run the ball. But yeah, like it wasn't why I left. Like that was not the reason at all. But I mean, definitely.
Did you have like a talk with Coach Day about you wanting to maybe do some more designed quarterback runs? Did that ever come up?
I mean, we've talked about it, and he, you know, I know that, you know, when we need to run the quarterback, I'm gonna run the ball. And I mean, if we need to run the quarterback 16 times a game, I'll do it. You know, I'm one of those people that I don't care. I just want to freaking go win. You know, that's the end of the day. Like I don't care. Obviously, you know, not ideal probably, but yeah.
Hey, Will, going back to 2022,
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready for the pressure? Are you ready for Ohio State fans, Ohio State Kingdom, Ohio State world?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I wouldn't be here if I didn't feel like I was ready for it. And you know, like I said, my time at K-State kind of hardened me, and obviously it wasn't on the stage that this necessarily is. But I'm ready. You know, I feel like nothing that is worth getting ever comes easy, and you know, I feel like this opportunity here was just too good to pass up. And you know, people say what they want about me. You know, it's in one ear and out the other. You know, and obviously it's hard. You know, balancing that stuff, but you know, I've learned to kind of block it out and just try to be me and trust God and and just be the best version of myself every day, and that's all you can do.
Will, thank you very much. Yep. Thank
All right,
you, buddy.
yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you, Will.
I appreciate it.